the other day. We was talking about how niggas start to get like money and success, and then they do their Hollywood shit by calling themselves, oh, I'm moving and upgrading to a whole new area, and it's like, bro, you moving away from your structure and your support. Now you're just another nigga in the city where people hype you up because you used to come here sometime, and the excitement of you coming here made them tell you shit that was not going to happen when you got here, and you fell
That's
for it.
so that's
Now
so,
you're going to be here in the rat race
that's so
wishing
true,
that you
bro.
would have never left.
That, that's so true. That's words to the wise. That's so true right there, son. It really is. It is exactly that. That's clear. Motherfucker better take heed to that. That's real talk. Bullshit.
I see that happen a million times. You know how many niggas I know moved to LA and was supposed to be movie stars and all that shit? I'm like, that's not how it happens. And it's a different world and a different time then. If you good and they want you, they'll come find you. They'll come to where you at and be like, all right, come here. But you don't gotta go sit out there and sit in them people's face. So they could just normalize your ass and be like, you ain't got shit going on. Cause that's all you do. You go around them and they be like, oh, you really ain't got nothing going on. You was waiting for me.
Yeah. It's bizarre. You know, this is another reason why it's nonverbal. It's physical. And for you to be able to really do anything in this life, and I learned this from being in the dope game. The dope game is 90% mental, 10% product, just in case your mental game is sufficient that people are interested in buying. It's it's the you know it's the same thing with everything else. Same thing with everything else, bro. Like you have to have the ability to think. You need to be able to really read your situation, bro. This is not new. There was a lot of cats that came across my path in my career. That it was like, yo, like once I had them in my grasp and they were just like, oh, please. And it's like, how did a nigga like you get here, bro? How did a nigga like you get into a place like this with a nigga like me, bro? You really you didn't know? Like you didn't know what you were doing? You accidentally ended up here? Totally fucking unprepared, talking about please, I'm sorry. It's like that made me think, it's like, yo, bro, like if you would have thought, if you would have been thinking, you would have been able to assess that's not a depth I want to try. You'd been able to assess that, to assess that. And like you just, that's why I used to press niggas so much. Like, yo, you gotta think, nigga, gotta think. Anybody that hustled with me tell you I was always on. You gotta think. I wasn't on. You gotta shoot. You gotta grab your gun. You gotta shoot. I wasn't on that. You gotta think. If you think, you won't have to shoot and grab your gun. Though you really won't. You won't have to. You may see a need to, but you never will have to. Having to means that the control of the situation is out of your hands because you're not doing something you decided would be in your best interest to do. You're doing something you have to do. That means you're responding. You're reacting. That means you're not in control of the situation. And that means that the person who is in control of the situation took the same amount of information that you were working with from their side, and they decided to take that degree of information and then take control of the situation. Now, whatever happens going forward, they determine it. Meanwhile, you on the other side of that, doing what you have to do because they doing what they want to do, and all you can do is respond. Thinking critically avoids that. It avoids being put into that trick bag. This is why I would come home, and you might remember this. Wake you up at 2 o'clock in the morning. Wake you and your brother like, yo, say this word. These niggas is like, word, word. Like, yeah, listen, say this word, consequences. And you're like, "Cut, you remember that?
Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
Tell, share that with us from your perspective. 'Cause
We was
I
in the
never
bed. We
asked
was
you that.
knocked out. And you just woke up, woke us up. You was like, "Yo, say this word. Consequences. There are actions for your consequences. You must know this." And then it went into the for every action there's a reaction. So understand that your actions have an effect, and they could come back and give you results that you are not expecting or not looking for. So you got to think and understand that there are consequences for your actions.
Right. And they were 6, 6, and 7. There was 6, 6, and 7. We were in the Pierre by then. And it was because I had just gotten back from Baltimore. And there was a kid out there named Little Man. I remember you, little bro. Little Man. Big youngin'. Probably about 17. He was out on Hollins and Pulaski on the west side of Baltimore. If you know, you know. And some afternoon, 90. I'm around there, but I'm doing an easy 25,000 a day every day. Easy. We ain't been there 2 good months. Not even. And got to know quite a few of the kids. You know, I'm gonna be on the kids. Get your ass to school. I don't want to see you out here until school is done. Don't I'm gonna kick you in your ass. Every neighborhood I was in, I was like that. And so uh, little man was on the block, and the older man, who I never saw, came uh, out from prison. Had been away for 15 years or some dumb shit like that. Little man tells him he can't be out there, and he said, "Oh, oh yeah, this is my fucking block. This thing, whatever, whatever." Of course, little man don't. This nigga been in prison since little man was 2 years old. Fuck, little man know about him. And nigga been out of prison for maybe they say like 2 weeks or something like that. And he stabbed little man right out there in the middle of the day. Stabbed him and killed him. Now, little man, sh- that should not have happened. Little man should have been prepared for that response. Black 21 Superman was popping. He, he should have been prepared for that response. He should have understood that by him saying what he said, he should have been you can't eat here. And when you're going to try to interfere, come between a man and his meal, you got to be prepared to go the full 9 yards. So, yeah, that contract was sent. That release was sent. That, yeah. um, you got to be ready to really fully prepare yourself for whatever kind of response you might get. You have to be prepared to do nothing, and at the same time prepared to do everything. Plain and simple.